Calculating offers. Let's dive into it. Running the numbers with the end in mind. And what I mean by that is when you run numbers on a property, you run comparable sold properties, you calculate everything that goes into buying a property. It's very, very straightforward. And I want to show you guys how to calculate offers, how we calculate offers. Very simple on every single property. And what I want to also focus on is making sure you actually perform and actually make those offers. People get hung up on the low ball offers, quote unquote, that it's in their head that they're making a low ball offer. They're offering $35,000, $40,000 on a property that's worth $100,000 fixed up or whatever the case may be. And people don't make those offers. But the reality of that is when you don't do that, you're leaving money on the table. If you do not make an offer on every single property that you look at, no matter what it comes out to be, and leave it open-ended and run the numbers and explain and reverse engineer and however you need to position it to somebody on the other end of it to make it make sense, it's all you have to do. We're gonna go over how we calculate numbers and how we make offers on every single property, whether we're gonna wholesale it, whether we're gonna flip it, whether we're gonna keep it as an Airbnb, and whether we're gonna put a tenant in it and rent it out. Whatever we're going to do, it all starts with running your numbers and making offers. And I want to just dive right in because you're running the numbers here with the end in mind. You should not be afraid of the outcome. You should not be afraid of what's going to happen. If they're going to say no, you should expect somebody to not understand why your numbers are what they are. And it's your job as a savvy real estate investor, I say it all the time, to reverse engineer and explain that to the owner of the property and make it make sense. However you need to do that. The rapport that's built, the relationship that's built is all going to come into play when you make these offers, and you can calculate them better. You can be more precise and you can explain what's going on from your side of the table. I use that phrase all the time when I'm making offers personally. I say, hey, from my perspective, my side of the table, this is how it looks. And people understand that when you position it from a position of business, people understand that it's not personal. It's not some weird thing. You're not trying to offend them, whatever. It's just one of those things where you need to make the offers every single time. So let's just dive right in. How we make offers on properties is so simple. I just want to run through it. Wholesale offers. Wholesaling can be an art form. People, new investors and people trying to get their foot in the door and starting in real estate always gravitate towards wholesaling, as I did. It's just the quickest way to learn the game. It's the quickest way to stack money. It's the quickest way to understand who are the good investors in your market. It's the good and the quickest way to understand the entire process of buying a house, flipping a house, the paperwork that goes into it, the actual fees, the holding costs, everything that you're going to learn from the people that you sell properties to and you flip contracts to is always from wholesaling. It's the quickest way to stack the money. It's really the quickest way to get comfortable running numbers, making offers, and just get comfortable and falling in love with the process of it. We say that all the time, and I don't want people to get hung up on, oh, I made 20 offers in the past month, and one of them, is going to call me back, and none of them it really accepted right away. That's the name of the game. If this was easy, everybody would do it. I promise you. So this information I'm going to go over is going to vary from city to city. It's going to vary from state to state and the current market conditions. It's going to vary. It's just going to change. And it's your job as a real estate investor to understand that and position it, like I already said. So, but also when you source distressed off-market properties that are in need of a lot of help and you start to solve bigger problems, you're going to make bigger money. That's just how this industry works. Some of my best deals personally that I've closed wholesaling have been from very deep problems. And what I mean by that is these problems are title related, they're family related, they're not as much focused on the property condition, and the offer was actually irrelevant. They just said, if you can figure this out, we will be happy to take whatever you guys can pay for this property. Those are the best deals. And anybody watching this who's done deals like that knows exactly what I mean by that. So a lot of times we're the only investors working our best deals. There's something to be said for that. So wholesale offers, do not be scared to make them. On my best deal, I paid $10,000 for a house that was worth $200,000. So just be known that when you solve bigger problems, you get bigger returns. So let's just dive right in. How to run quick numbers. I just wanted to go over a quick little mindset, how to make offers on everything. So let's just dive right in. Running comps. That's what you're going to do right away. Find out what a property is, the value of the property can be done so many different ways. I don't want people to get hung up on whatever software they think they're supposed to have and what's the latest and greatest widget that somebody came out with on their phone that runs automatic comps or just whatever it is. I'm just throwing out ideas here, but there's 100+ million different ways that you can figure out a ballpark estimate of what a property is worth. And you can also use that in your bag of tricks here, in your tool belt of investing tools, when you're communicating and making offers with the owner, you say, hey, it's this is an opinion of value. If I hired 10 appraisers to come out to a property, I'm going to get 10 different numbers on what the value is in its current condition. So this is just an opinion of value, and I run my numbers based on my opinion of the property's value. So we run our comps. We try to stay within a 0.25 mile radius of the property. That's what we like to do on our traditional real estate side. That's what we do as investors as well. If you have to go out to a half mile to really get a couple good solid comps, there are times where we do that when you're not in such a textbook neighborhood that makes sense, and there's not just a 3-3 and a 3-2 and a 3-1 style house that you can compare properties to. We have to get a little more creative and run comps a little bit differently. And then what we also do is we keep the recent solds. We run that 2.25 mile radius, and we keep it under 12 months of the last most recently sold property. We do that because so much can change in 12 months, 15 months, 24 months, couple years. We're not in the business to overestimate what a property is worth. We want to be as realistic on this calculation as humanly possible. And I don't want people to not take action on running numbers. If you have to go to Zillow, you have to go to realtor.com, and you have to go to all these free websites to figure out 5 different numbers and then just average them out for what the property is worth, do that. I know people who do that and they close deals. It is nothing unheard of, I promise you. So any local real estate agent can run comps for you. The trick to this is to getting your foot in the door, is being willing to use them on the back end and having them sell your properties if need be. Now, if you're wholesaling, that's not always going to be the case, but it's a relationship you're building. Don't forget that we cold call and do outreach to agents and other property appraisers and other resources and contractors and companies and sewer scope people and everything else. We reach out and build that relationship because those people matter to us and we matter to them. It's the lifeblood. So just be of value to them, and they're happy to do that little bit of legwork for you, I promise. So if you're looking at a 3-bed, 1-bath house, that's 1,000 square feet, do not compare a property. If you can, that is a 2-bed, 1-bath, that's only 700 square feet. You're gonna shoot yourself in the foot. You're gonna run comps a little bit off, and it's not that you're not gonna get a decent idea of where you should be at on the value. It's just you want to be as similar to that property as humanly possible. If you have no other choice, run a simple price per square foot calculation and just divide it out however you need to make up for the extra square footage or the lacking square footage, if that makes sense. So if you have no other choice, definitely feel free to do that. We do it on certain unique properties, definitely. But a good thing to note is more bedrooms equals higher rent, because we sell to a lot of buy and hold investors. When we wholesale, they keep them as rentals. Some Section 8 people, the more bedrooms and the more bathrooms sometimes is just going to equal more rent. So they're going to be able to pay more for that property. So just be as diligent as you can. And you do want to compare apples to apples here. You don't want to compare apples to oranges or whatever the other sayings are. But if you have no other choice, definitely just do a simple price per square foot calculation. It's really simple to do. You just divide it out. So different people, companies, buyers run different formulas. It's just a good starting point, I promise you. So things to always remember. It doesn't benefit you at all to overestimate the value of a property. It actually hurts you. And this is something I know I got hung up on starting doing wholesaling and running numbers and making offers. And I know a lot of people do. And flat out, when we have other wholesalers trying to daisy chain and send us deals that they're trying to JV on and stuff like that, they always, 100% of the time, they tell us what the ARV is. We in our wholesaling business, we don't do that. We don't tell people. We have a conversation. We say, man, I don't know. We're looking at the numbers. It looks like, it could be worth 100. It could be worth 120. I'm not too sure what it's worth. Let me know what you think. That statement and that process right there in your business is going to make you so much more money, because you don't look like a jackass. You don't look like the guy who's coming out to wholesale properties and you're telling somebody it's worth $200,000 when it's worth 140. You're not that guy. Nobody looks at you like that. But I promise you, people do it all the time, and that's why it's kind of a little bit of a pet peeve of mine when people try to overestimate ARV, and all it does is make you look bad. It makes you look bad. It makes you not being taken seriously by your buyers, and you end up putting a lot of time and effort working a deal that was never a deal because you are trying to make it a deal. It doesn't benefit you at all to try to make something worth more than it actually is. So figure out a solid ARV for the property, and then even if you have to deduct 10% to be safe. It sounds kind of arrogant and ignorant to do that, but a lot of people, and we do it. Sometimes we go even more than 10%. If a property is worth $100,000 and has really strong comps, it's a 3-bed, 1-bath, 3-bed, 2-bath, and we got all of that data. We're looking at very strong comps, and we could say without a doubt, it's probably going to sell around $100,000. I wouldn't even say it's worth 100. I would say a real good safe value of that property is 90,000. And then you subtract your realtor fees and your commissions and all the stuff that goes into it if you're going to flip a property, and you just reverse engineer the offer. And we'll get into an example deal here in a second. But you want to be wrong in the right way rather than wrong in the wrong way. If that makes sense. So I don't want to say something's worth 100,000 and then it'd be worth 75 down the road. I would rather say, man, I was trying to predict that this property was worth 75,000, ended up coming out and appraising at 96,000. What a great way to be wrong. That's what you want to have happen. And if a seller contests your evaluation of a property, I promise you it's okay. It's going to happen. Tell them it's just a factor of doing business. It doesn't benefit me at all to run numbers and try to overestimate what something's worth. And most people don't tell them this, but most people think they have a gem when they don't always have a gem, if that makes sense. You ever bought a used car directly from somebody? It's insane the amount of stuff they know about it. It's the same thing with houses. They tell you every single thing that's going on with it. If they know, if they've owned it, or if they've inherited it, they grew up there, whatever the story is, they know everything that's going on, and they have memories, and they have a very strong hyper memories associated with that property. And then on the flip side of that, some people actually understand that it's not worth anything because of all the exact same thing I just said. They say, oh, well, yeah, you're right. I remember us tearing up this house so bad, I can't believe it's even standing still, yada, yada, yada. That's just how the stories go. Different strokes for different folks, guys. Don't ever think this. So if they don't want to play ball, that's okay. Real estate investing is a numbers game. Every property you walk, make an offer on. Every property you walk is a potential deal. Every property that you make an offer on is a potential check in your pocket, or a potential buy and hold for you for an infinity amount of time. That's going to make you cash flowing assets and producing income for you, and tax write-offs and benefits and all this other stuff that goes into real estate investing. It all starts from walking properties, making relationships, and then running numbers and making the offer. And I cannot believe how many people don't make offers on every single property they walk. It's a pet peeve. Like, you guys need to make offers on every single thing that you walk. So calculating a wholesale offer. Let's do the example. 3-bed, 1-bath, 1,000-square-foot house. Let's just example. There's so many variables with running numbers, so we're just going to keep it super simple. Let's say the property needs about 10 grand, basic repairs, a little bit of drywall, whatever. Bring contractors with you or your buyers, and once again, this ties back into not predicting what something's worth, and having the person who's going to end up buying it or tell you what their opinion of value of it is, and have them tell you. You don't want to sit there and tell them, oh, I think it's worth 100. And they come back and say, well, actually, man, I thought it was worth 130. Why'd you tell me it's worth 100? You don't want to be wrong in that way. It just makes you look bad, and you're leaving money on the table, because there are some sharks out there, I promise you, that will say, hey, you're right, it's only worth 100. I don't think it's worth 130. They're not going to back you up on that stuff and correct you in the right way. So let's just say for this example deal, there's several comps around 90,000 when sold, completely fixed up. So I'm going to say, the deal is worth around 90,000. And then how do we determine at that point the rehab for the property and still make a profit on it when we sell? That's the whole thing here. We want to be able to buy it. We want to be able to hold on to it for a short amount of time or indefinite amount of time. This is the buyer, and we want to make a profit. Profit first. I cannot believe how many people feel bad about making money. And I thought I would never have to say that, but people actually feel bad for making money and having to explain to somebody in a distressed situation that I'm solving a giant problem that's been years in the making for you, when there's a house involved, and I'm due money. I am due a fee for solving this problem. It makes me smile, because I'm just like, some people just don't comprehend it. And so our short offer formula for this example deal, saying it's worth 90,000, needs $10,000 in repairs. We have solid comps, everything else. Our simple short offer formula is going to be 90,000 times 0.7, which is just going to subtract 30% of the entire value of the deal right off the bat. I know deals we've closed, we've gone as high as 82, 85 on this formula, but I know deals that, like I just said, I got a $10,000 offer accepted on a property that's worth 200. So I'm just saying, there is no perfect formula for this. It's a relationship driven offer. That's how a lot of the good deals are. So now let's, for this example deal, straightforward, 90,000 times 0.7 minus the repairs, which in this case is gonna be 10,000, minus the wholesale fee would be our wholesale offer. So here's the actual numbers. 90,000 times 0.7 is 63,000, minus $10,000 in potential repairs equals $53,000 is what you would expect to be able to pay for this property, make a profit, flip it, and hold on to it for an indefinite amount of time, whatever the end exit strategy is. But in this case, let's subtract another $5,000 for the wholesale fee, which brings your offer to around $48,000. We've ran this equation 100,000 different ways. I promise you, this is an insanely strong starting point. You will get offers accepted using this formula. You will get offers accepted. Do not feel bad about including a wholesale fee in that equation. You are not telling anybody that you're not making money. You are being transparent about it. These people, these sellers, these situations that you come across, they understand it. It is okay. So if you're not wholesaling the property, your offer is going to be around 53,000 on this deal, assuming your repairs are correct. I'm not going to get too off topic about running repair costs on this video. There's another video on my YouTube channel that shows you exactly the big ticket things that we look for, so you can not have to write contingent offers on properties and you can get more offers accepted, because that is something that we leverage 1,000% in our business. We say, hey, we are quick. We do not need to see the property 15 times like other people have said they do. We don't need to write a contingent offer. If we sign this paper, we're going to close on this offer. So we leverage that. So get comfortable. I can't stress this slide enough. The money is made when you buy property. The money is made when you buy, not when you sell. You might actually get paid when you sell, but the money that you made is when you buy. That's why you do the after repair value, the fixed up value, times 0.7 immediately, no matter what, or times 0.8 or 0.6, or however you run that equation in your market. Just run that equation. It's profit first. So the money is made when sellers understand you are solving a problem for them, and this is how you feed your family and pay your bills, and don't end up in a situation like they're in most of the time. So people understand that. They are okay with you making a profit. Some of our best deals are from solving giant problems. So remember, you can reverse engineer this entire wholesaling business with a couple key performance indicators. Really, it just comes down to the number of cold calls it takes you to get a walkthrough or an appointment, or if you're virtual wholesaling, the number of cold calls it takes you to get an interested seller who's interested in hearing your terms, and then the next KPI is the number of walkthroughs or sellers willing to play ball, however that works for you, to get a contract accepted or your offer accepted. And then in the third is the number of contracts accepted or your offers accepted, contingent or not, however that works for you in your business, per closed deal. And you can take that, all three of those numbers, and reverse engineer, and then you can break it down and say, hey, I know it took me 100,000 calls in 2020 to close 67 deals. How many properties did I walk? How many calls did I make to get those 480 walkthroughs? How many of those 480 walkthroughs turned into deals? What's the ratio there? How many calls do I have to make in 2021 to be able to double that? So you reverse engineer the whole entire business, and it really becomes something that's predictable. It's a model that can be scaled and grow over time. The guesswork is taken out of it. The business is still going to ebb and flow. That's what real estate wholesaling is. It ebbs and flows. Some months you close 5 deals. Some months you close no deals. Some months you might have 9 or 10 or 15 or 20 or 50 on the pipeline. It just really depends. This business ebbs and flows with emotions of the market. It ebbs and flows with the emotions of people, the government, stimulus checks, whatever's going on, it ebbs and flows. Don't ever forget that if you get 10, 20 offers rejected in a month, that does not mean you are not doing this correctly. Don't let fear of making offers correctly stop you from taking action. I cannot repeat that enough. It's just one of those things that people do not take enough action, and they have fear, and it's understandable. We've all been there. You need to practice, you need to practice, you need to practice, you need to practice, because you're going to run into people that want an offer on the phone. You're going to run into people who want an offer to even know you're legit, know what the hell you're talking about. You're going to run into all kinds of great stuff. It's all good problems. It's all savvy stuff. It's all quick-witted thinking and responses that need to come out of your brain. And it all comes from being comfortable. It all comes from messing things up. It all comes from experience. It all comes from starting and taking action. So I hope this clears up a little bit of how we make offers. I know I just ran through it and ramble a lot, but this is so simple. Wholesaling offers, running comps, it's really not hard. I'm not diving into any software on this video. I'm not diving into any actual crazy weird stuff that we use, because we have the MLS, we have PropStream, we have Zillow, we have all of the other resources out there. We also have agents, that we work with closely, because we have built those relationships like I spoke about earlier. But this is all about making offers, running numbers, and I hope this helps. Until the next video, check out the one on my channel about running your repair budgets and the things that we do not miss, and the big ticket items that could screw you over, like retaining walls and just big things on properties that a lot of people and new wholesalers don't look at. So peace.